I got hooked on watching those adult movies on my phone. It was like I couldn't stop. Before I knew it, I was watching them even in the living room, just quick clips here and there. It became a habit and I couldn't break it. Then it clicked. My stepmom, who was 60 years old, may have seen things going in a strange direction after that. She started moving around the house in clothes that were less tight, sometimes even see-through. At first, it wasn't very clear, but then it became clearer, like she knew how it was making me feel. I tried to tell myself it was nothing, maybe just a coincidence, but the clothes seemed to get more revealing every time she walked by. I started to wonder if it was intentional. She'd sit on the couch with her back to me, or lean over too much in the kitchen. We never talked about it, but the tension was thick in the air. I questioned everything. Was she just playing around, or was my addiction messing with my mind? But it was real, and it shocked me. One day she was walking around in a thin white skirt. I could see everything. Like always, I was watching adult movies and pretended not to notice. Then I put my phone down and saw her bent over under the table, looking for something. She had nothing on underneath. I was stunned. My heart pounded so hard I thought my pants would fall off. She asked me why I was surprised. I couldn't believe she knew I'd seen everything. "I believe you like these things," she said, her voice low and knowing. "They've been on your phone for a long time." I had nothing to say. "But these things aren't real," I stammered, "and you're my mom." She looked at me funny, a strange glint in her eyes. "Oh, come on," she said. "Do you know how many people would die to be in your shoes?" That made me even less sure. "What position?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. She got closer, her smile widening. "This," she said, and her oranges were practically hanging in my face. They were the biggest I'd ever seen in real life. Then she took off my pants and said, "Let's play a game." She sat down on my lap, her eyes fixed on mine. "Let's see how long you can watch this without moving." I lost right away. She did what you'd expect. After I picked her up and put her down, it happened almost every day. My dad wasn't there, so the 40-year gap was the only thing that felt weird to me. It was strange, sure, but when she was with me, she felt like she was 20 again. I never thought I'd be with a girlfriend 40 years older than me. It was hard to wrap my head around it at first, especially since she was my stepmother. The age difference made everything feel strange. There were times I couldn't believe what was happening, wondering how I got here. Then came the thrill. Being with someone who had been through so much, who had seen so much of life, gave our relationship a level of passion I'd never experienced with girls my age. It was exciting at first, sneaking around the house, keeping everyone in the dark. Every look, every touch felt electric because of the secret. But the truth came out, and it wasn't always easy. No matter how exciting our relationship was, we didn't share much in terms of everyday things. Music, movies, even how we felt about life. We were on different pages. She talked a lot about the 1980s and 1990s, a time I only knew from old movies and faded photographs. The fear of what people would think was a heavy weight on my shoulders. I couldn't imagine telling my family and friends that I was seeing someone almost as old as my grandmother. The thought of the gossip, the whispers, the shame, it made me feel sick. Every time I looked at her, I felt a mix of desire and uncertainty. Could this last? Was it worth it? But despite everything, there were times when we really connected. She had a unique understanding of things that no one else did. She gave me advice and ideas I'd never thought of before. She knew more than just how to take care of my body. Life with her was strange, exciting, and hard to understand all at the same time. I wondered how long it would last before everything fell apart. It wasn't a secret for long. Maybe it was the small changes in my behavior, or maybe It was just the fact that something so strange can't be kept hidden forever. Whatever the reason, my friends started to notice. Maybe it was because I'd lie about being busy when I was really just spending time with her. Or maybe it was because I stopped talking about girls my age. Whatever it was, one of my best friends, Jake, took a step back. "Hey, there's something wrong with you," he said, his eyes getting tight as if he knew something was wrong. "The other guys can see it. You've been acting strange. What's going on?" I tried to play it cool at first, like it wasn't a big deal, but the longer you try to hide something like that, the worse it gets. I told Jake because I couldn't keep it to myself anymore. I told him about my stepmother's changing behavior, how our addiction got out of hand, and the unthinkable thing that had happened. The look on Jake's face went from confused to shocked. "Hey, who is your stepmother? You're like 40 years younger than her. You're looking pretty silly right now." I nodded, but I also felt guilty and defensive at the same time. I was already in love with her, despite everything. Man, that's not how it works. It just happened. To be honest, I have no idea how to explain it. We're together now. I know it's strange, but I care about her. I could tell Jake was having a hard time processing what I just told him. He was quiet for a moment. "I don't want to be rude, but you should really think about this again, dude. She's your stepmother. The age difference is huge. Have you thought about what this means for your life? What's next?" His words stung, but I couldn't change how I felt about her. "There's no reason for it," I said. "But I'm happy, man. This is the first time I've ever felt this way. No one else gets me like she does." Jake sighed and rubbed the back of his neck, like he didn't know how to talk to me anymore. "Have you thought about what will happen in the long run? She's 60 years old. You're 20. What do you do when you're 40 and she's almost 80? What happens when your family finds out? When people see this, they're going to think you're crazy." I wasn't letting myself think that far ahead. I hadn't thought about the future because I was so focused on the present, on how intense everything felt. "Man, I don't know. It might not last that long. It could just be something happening right now. I'll figure it out as I go." Jake wouldn't have it. "You can't just figure it out. You're getting too close to danger with this. It'll blow up in your face if this gets out before you're ready. You need to think again about everything." I heard the same things from the rest of my friends over the next few days. They weren't as direct as Jake, but they all showed their worry. Everyone was concerned. My friends told me to step back, think about what I was doing, and then try again. But it was too late. I was already in love with her. There was no way to get me out of the hole I was in. I knew they were right from the beginning. I knew this relationship was hard, dangerous, maybe even doomed. But something kept drawing me to her. She understood me in a way I'd never felt before. It wasn't just the connection between us. It went deeper than that. It was wise and kind of her to treat me the way she did because she'd been through things I hadn't. I didn't know what it was, but I didn't want to let it go. Knowing that my friends cared about me was the hardest part. This was true. This relationship could have gone badly for me in more than one way, but I just couldn't leave, no matter what. Maybe I was too far gone, or maybe I was just telling myself that love could win, no matter what. I had to decide what to do, but I wasn't ready to let her go yet.